Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a topic that touches everyone. Money. Earning it, saving it, spending it,
Mm.
maybe worrying about it. It's just always there.
It really is, isn't it? And, what's really interesting is how emotional it all gets. The stress, maybe the excitement of getting paid, the fear of something unexpected.
Or just, the happiness of finally buying that thing you wanted.
Exactly.
And those feelings, that emotional side, that's really what we want to dig into today. Our mission, let's say, is to look at everyday money habits, how maybe our upbringing plays a role, and pick up some useful English phrases about money, too.
Yeah, and we're doing that by using this great conversation between Alex and Jamie from English Conversations for Learners. They get pretty honest about their own money stuff.
Okay, let's get into it. So they start way back. Childhood stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Alex. He says he was basically a spender from day one. Any money he got, poof, gone.
Yeah. On what, like sweets and games?
Candy, toys, video games, yep. Usual suspects.
Mhm.
Does that ring a bell for you personally?
Oh, definitely. That immediate fun thing is hard to resist when you're a kid. But what's interesting is Jamie, he was the opposite, like a natural saver, had the piggy bank, careful parents.
Right. It's quite the contrast. Alex's story, though, it kind of highlights that immediate gratification trap. Seeing those triggers is maybe the first step.
Totally. For you listening, think about those impulse buys, what feelings or situations, usually set them off.
It's amazing how those early habits can, well, stick around. Alex even said he wished he'd learned to save earlier. He didn't really get serious about money until his 20s.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. That's often when, the real world responsibilities start hitting, rent, bills, stuff you can't just ignore.
Forces you to pay attention.
Exactly.
So fast forward to now, their adult lives. How do they handle money? Jamie keeps it pretty simple. Basic budget,
Mm-hmm.
takes his income, subtracts the must-pays like rent, food, bills,
Okay.
and then splits what's left. Some for savings, some for fun money, as he calls it.
Right. Very direct. I like that. It's intentional, isn't it? He's actually deciding where the money goes. Alex, though, he's more high tech.
Yeah, Alex uses budgeting apps. They track everything, send alerts. He joked it's like having a digital parent.
A digital parent. I like that. It shows how different tools work for different people, right? Some need that app reminder.
Totally. But, even with plans and apps, sticking to it isn't always a walk in the park. Alex admits food delivery is his kryptonite.
Oh, I feel that.
And Jamie. His weakness is the daily coffee shop run. It adds up. Can you relate to those little things kind of chipping away?
Absolutely. Those small, regular things, they really do make a dent over time. It's just, well, it's human, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even with the plan, temptations are there. But importantly, they know where their leaks are. That awareness is key.
Definitely. And that brings us to saving. Super important topic they cover. Alex is trying to build up like a general savings cushion.
Safety net.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, he's got a very specific goal. That trip to Japan. He's literally budgeting for flights, hotels, even ramen.
See, that's powerful. Having a tangible goal like that, something you can picture, it makes saving feel less like a chore, more like building towards something awesome. What about you listening? Got a specific goal you're saving for right now?
It really does make a difference. But Alex's focus on the emergency fund is just as vital, maybe even more so initially. Because, like Jamie says, life throws curveballs, expensive ones sometimes.
So true. And that 3-month buffer Alex is aiming for, that's pretty standard advice. Gives you breathing room if, something unexpected happens, like losing a job. Have you thought about what your safety net number might be?
Which leads nicely into this other point they debated, saving versus paying off debt. Jamie makes a really solid argument. If you've got high interest debt, think credit cards.
Oh, yeah. Those rates can be brutal.
Right. Tackling that first probably makes the most sense, financially speaking. That interest just digs the hole deeper.
Mathematically, yes, that's usually the advice. Get rid of the expensive debt first. But Alex brings up the peace of mind factor.
Exactly. Yeah. Having even a small emergency fund can stop you from having to borrow more if a surprise cost pops up.
It's a balance, isn't it? There's the math, and then there's the psychology of feeling a little secure. They both kind of agreed. It's about finding what works for your situation.
So bringing it back to their current habits, where are they now? Alex says he's landed somewhere in the middle. He's trying to save, but not depriving himself completely. Still allows for treats.
Finding that balance again. And Jamie, he uses that trick.
Oh yeah, the want versus need question. Before buying something, he asks himself which it is.
That's such a good, simple strategy. It really forces a moment of pause, makes you think, do I really need this or do I just want it right now? Great for mindful
He
spending.
really is. Alex also mentioned his 24-hour rule
Ah, yes. Wait a day before buying something non-essential.
to avoid impulse buys, especially online, with this just click, click, add to cart.
Oh, tell me about it. Way too easy sometimes. That digital checkout is dangerously smooth.
Okay, so then they shifted gears a bit, talked about something maybe less discussed but really important: money and relationships.
A big one.
They both agreed it's like a top reason couples argue, which sadly stats often back up.
Absolutely. Especially when you have different money styles, The classic saver versus spender thing, that can cause real friction.
So what's the key then?
Communication, really. Being open about how you spend, any debt you have, what your financial goals are. You have to talk about it. And Jamie mentioned a practical idea some couples use.
The separate accounts thing.
Yeah, like one joint account for shared bills, rent, groceries, whatever.
Right.
But then separate accounts for your own personal spending. It gives you both some autonomy.
That actually sounds quite sensible. A mix of teamwork and individual freedom could definitely help avoid some arguments.
For sure.
Now, making this super practical, especially if English isn't your first language, they went over some common money idioms. First up, money doesn't grow on trees.
Haha, the classic. Heard that one a few times growing up. Just means money's limited, right? Don't waste it.
Exactly. Then living paycheck to paycheck.
Oof, yeah. That describes just getting by, right? Covering the bills each month, but with basically nothing left over. It's a tough reality for a lot of people. Why do you think that's so common?
Complex reasons, I guess. Wages, cost of living. Anyway, another phrase, a nest egg.
Right. That's money saved up for the future, like retirement, or maybe for those emergencies we talked about, your safety buffer.
Crucial for long-term security. They also mentioned to break the bank.
Meaning something's really expensive. Yeah, like that car would break the bank.
And lastly, tighten your belt.
Cutting back on spending, usually because money's short, you got to tighten your belt for a few months. All really useful phrases for everyday money talk.
Definitely good ones to know. So as they were wrapping up, they shared their main money goals right now. Jamie, laser focused on that Japan trip. Don't touch the Japan fund.
That dedication is key. If you label the savings pot, you're less likely to dip into it for other things.
Good point. And Alex, his goal is more general, but still vital. Building up that savings buffer to cover 3 months of living expenses.
That 3-month emergency fund, really important safety net.
And looking even further ahead, they both mentioned wanting to learn about investing, like basic long-term stuff. Jamie even suggested they could talk about investing 101 sometime.
Yeah, and that's interesting for you listening as you think about your own financial path.
How so?
Well, it feels like a natural next step, doesn't it? Once you feel you've got a handle on budgeting and saving, thinking about how to make your money potentially grow over the long term, it's logical. Their interest just kind of shows that learning about finance is an ongoing thing.
Right, it doesn't just stop.
Mm.
So let's pull this all together. We've explored Alex and Jamie's personal habits, different ways to budget, that tricky balance between saving and debt, how money weaves into relationships, and hopefully picked up some handy English idioms.
And what's really clear is how, universal a lot of this is. Doesn't matter where you are, the basics of dealing with money earning, saving, spending, they apply pretty much everywhere.
Which brings us to a question for you, listening, kind of like how Alex and Jamie ended their chat. Thinking about yourself, honestly, are you more of a spender or more of a saver? And maybe what's one money goal you have right now? Just take a second to think on that.
Yeah, good questions. And building on their final thoughts about maybe looking into investing, what could your next step be? Maybe it's just getting a clearer picture of your spending. Maybe it's finding a saving strategy that clicks. Or, maybe it is starting to learn the absolute basics of investing. The main thing is, like Alex and Jamie realize, continuing to learn and engage with your finances. That's probably the most valuable tool you have.